If 2026 is the year that you finally take control of your finances, but the word budget makes you cringe, what if I told you that you could look at it a little bit differently? What if I told you that the word budget could actually mean that you get to spend with intention on the things that are important to you in your life? Hello and welcome. Thank you for sticking around. So my name is Jen, owner and creator of Budgets and Blossom. And so here we help individuals get their finances in order and budget with intention. So, we all have obligations when it comes to our finances, things like our mortgage, car payments, utilities, and those kind of things. And then we have categories that we also get to spend our money on that we get the choice of how much goes into them. So those are things like your groceries, household expenses like toiletries and self-care, vacations, children's spending, all kinds of things like that. So those are the categories where you really get to dive deep and live with intention on how you want to spend those finances. So what we are going to do is we're going to do a cash budgeting system. So cash budgeting means pulling out money from your budget, like actual cash money, to spend on categories that you usually overspend in your day-to-day life. So for me, that's groceries and eating out, household items, and our newly rescued pup Maple. She's been a little bit of a budget squeeze here. A lot of things that we want to spend on her, but then also she's had a few medical problems that I think we have under control now. But so for me, I'm going to go ahead and stuff some cash in those categories, and I am just going to do this as a practice budget. So 2026 isn't here yet. So that this is the perfect time to say, hey, I'm going to practice something and see if it's going to work for me. So go ahead, take a look at the categories that you think you spend a little bit too much on. I think we kind of know ourselves a little bit, not completely, and we'll go into that on another video. We are going to do a 90-day spending audit, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay tuned for that episode to see that. But we do know ourselves a little bit. So if there's a few categories that you know that you overspend on, go ahead and pull cash out for the next week. We're not doing anything crazy. Pull cash out for the next week of what you intentionally want to spend in those categories and make that your budget for the week. You spend no more. Once the cash is gone, the cash is gone. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go ahead and do a mini cash stuffing, which is going to be our practice cash stuffing. So I can go ahead and show you how you can start doing this in the new year. So this is my cash binder wallet. It is something that is not necessary at all. It is a tool that I use for my finances. But with the cash system, you can use some regular envelopes, mailing envelopes that you get at the store. This does not need to be anything exciting. This does not need to be anything pretty. It's a tool to help you take control of your finances. So especially in this phase where we're doing this practice budgeting series, just throw some envelopes in your wallet. And if you don't even have envelopes, throw cash in there, put a sticky note between your different categories, and be on your way. No need to overcomplicate this. So the categories that I'm going to be stuffing today are my groceries, my eating out category, household expenses, fuel, just because I like to stuff that, and Maple, which is my new puppy that I told you about. So we're going to go ahead and stuff those today so that we can go ahead and get started on our practice budget. I have already gone ahead and pulled the cash out of the bank. Let's go ahead and get that organized here. Let's go ahead and count it actually first. So we have 1, 52, 20, 40, 60, 83, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 380. So these are the funds that we are going to be spending over the next week. So there's no need to, try and look at a full month ahead or anything like that. We're just doing this in a small little segment, 1 week at a time, so we can try and take control of these finances. So off camera, I have a little list of what category of the categories that I'm stuffing and what bills are going to each. I just break them down a little bit for these. just so I'm not, always handing out hundreds and fifties anytime I go somewhere. So for groceries this week, we are going to get $130. That's me a 1, 20, and a 10. Eating out is going to get $50. This is one of the categories for us that is a real doozy. So this is one that we've personally decided to kind of really cut down on, and I'm very lucky because my husband is very much on point with me on this budgeting thing. Over this past year, we've actually paid off about $42,000 in debt. And it wasn't like, so I had started tracking my net worth at the beginning of the year, and it really kind of opened my eyes. I had some credit cards that I thought I was kind of pulling one over on the credit card companies. I had gotten those like 0% offers for the credit cards, but you'd have to pay like 5% to transfer balance. Well, I call that kicking the can. So for about the past 5 years, I've been kicking the can on these credit cards. Well, they're still getting their 5% when I'm doing those initial transactions. So they've collected several $100s from me in interest. So they're actually getting the leg up on me. So just know that banks are always there. They have the one up on you. So it's better to pay off your debts. And that was something that we decided to do. We have not been cash stuffing this whole year. This is something that I've taken on over about the last month or two. And it's really a tool that I think is going to stick because, like I said, we had paid off the debt, but it was kind of like no rhyme or reason. We had just been very like frugal this past year. Had moments of spendiness that almost pushed me into wanting to kick the can again here this past month, especially with, like I said, we got Maple and she had some health issues and, cost us a few $1,000s in that regard. And I was so tempted to kick the can one more time. And I said, no, it's not going to happen. We are going to tighten up our budget and we are going to pay off these expenses. We're going to pay off these credit cards. I got very intentional with this, and I'm just here to say that if I'm able to take control of my finances, I'm able to pay off debt. I'm nobody special, and I know that you guys can do it too. You do have to just put in a little bit of hard work. And I mean, if you can be on the same page as the people in your family with your finances, that's the best thing ever. But even if you can't, you can still make little steps yourself to help get you on the right path with your finances. So we already stuffed our eating out category with our $50 for the week. And now we have household. And we're going to go ahead and stuff another 50 in this. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 20s here and a 10. I am going to need to do a Costco run, and it's not going to happen with this. I mean, I can get a few items, but after the first of the year, I'm going to get a little bit more intentional with the full budget as far as cash stuffing goes. Like I said, I just paid off our final credit card. I just did that the other day, so that will help free up a little bit of money too. So, I'll be able to put a little bit more money in these categories moving forward. Gas is getting $50. And I do normally get my fuel at Costco. But I do like to pull this money out of the bank just so that I have it. So for Maple, her expenses kind of come up every 2 weeks, and how long it kind of takes her to go through her dog food and things like that. So I do actually stuff her every other week. So this week she will be getting her stuffing, and she's going to go ahead and get $100. She gets $200 total for the month. So this week she's going to get $100, and that'll cover the next 2 weeks. So we've got 50, 70, 80, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, and 100. So now that I've got all of my categories stuffed for the week, This is it. This is what I'm going to spend. Once I'm done in these categories, I'm done. And it's doable. With your groceries, if you haven't signed up for your local store's app, they often have like my local store is in Albertsons. So they have an app that you can log into. You can go in there and click all their For You deals, all their coupons. And I mean, there's often times where I'm saving 40, 50% on my grocery bill every week. And also when you're doing this, look through the ads, but don't overbuy stuff. Buy what you need for the week. You don't need to stock up. If there's a good sale and you can fit it in your budget for the week, like maybe there's, beans on sale or, some, pasta or something like that, you can go ahead and grab a couple boxes if it fits in your budget for the week, but don't feel like you have to go overboard on this. This is intended to keep you in line and not overspend, because we so often fill our pantries with stuff that unfortunately never gets used. And a year down the road, we have to go through our pantries and we have to just get rid of stuff that we never used. So do yourself the favor, spend money on what you need for the week. It'll help you to be able to pay down your debts and get out of the financial lock that you feel like you've been in. And I just want to let you know that this is a lifestyle change. So often there's things nowadays where we feel like, we want that instant gratification, that instant satisfaction with everything that we have. This is not an overnight thing. This isn't going to happen in a month. This isn't going to happen in 6 months. It's not going to happen in a year. This is something that you're going to continue to do. And the more you build momentum, the more you're going to start breaking down those debts, the more you're going to spend with intention. Because when you're spending less on these categories, it allows you the space to spend on the things you want. If you want to go get your nails done or a massage or take the kids to an amusement park, it allows you to do that. It allows you to spend the money on the things that you want. We are going to be doing, like I said, a 90-day spending audit. That's where we're looking back at our last 90 days to see how we spend our money. Because like I said, we kind of know ourselves, but we don't really know ourselves. I think a lot of times we spend money just kind of frivolously, and we don't really know where it's going. So we're gonna take a look back at our last 90 days. I will have a free printout for you, but that's, like I said, gonna come out in a future video where we go through it all, and we're gonna get to know ourselves financially, and then we're gonna work through this together so that we can help each other stay on track with our finances, pay off debt, get to the point where we're saving for our retirements, for our families, and spending on the things that we want. Once again, this is Budgets and Blossoms. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see the progress that you make on your finances. Please leave a comment if you are new to budgeting, and let me know what it is that is encouraging you to start this budget. What it is that's made you wake up and say, you know what, I'm taking control now of your finances. And then if you're a seasoned budgeter, please leave some inspiration for these new budgeters in the comments below. It really helps us to encourage us to keep on going, because sometimes we feel hopeless. Something comes in and it kind of disturbs our budget, and I can't find the word, but an expense that we weren't expecting, and it can throw us off. But just like with anything, you just have to get back on the horse. Don't let those things deflate you. You've got this. I'm proud of you for being here. The fact that you're watching this video and even thinking about budgeting is a huge step. So please don't sit on the sidelines. Take control. The faster you start doing this, the faster you can get to financial freedom. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.